We have a four-way tie atop the Heartland Conference as we begin the final weekend set in the regular season. Two of those four, the Transylvania Pioneers and the Rose-Hulman Fightin' Engineers, and they will square off today at RHIT Field here on RHIT.TV. And it's all made possible by Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer since 1955. Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. Wheeler Mission, for over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Bertner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. Morales Group, we're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Piper Logistics, your trusted logistics partner since 1994. Aspen Creek Grill, why go anywhere else? Large selection of food made from scratch and fairly priced. And IndianaSRN Sports Page. Follow the sports page every day with updates, news from coast to coast. Log on at IndianaSRN.org and click on our tab. Well, we are honored to have you join us here. Big matchup here in the Heartland Conference. Transylvania and Rose-Hulman. Sam Cinder alongside Cruz Martin. And Cruz, it doesn't get better than this. These two, both 12-7, Heartland Conference, four-way tie. Manchester, Anderson, Rose-Hulman, and Transylvania. And one of these two teams will separate themselves as we go in to conference tournament play.
Yeah, no question about it. And, whichever team ends up coming out on top this year in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference is going to be very well deserving. And, you get a matchup like this late in the season. This is what you play baseball for. It's these big moments like this. So I'm really interested to see who's going to be able to rise to the occasion and be able to come out top down the stretch of the season. And it starts right here today. Well,
last year, Transylvania was all about really, they did everything well. But offensively, most home runs, they were a three true outcome team. Most walks, they did strike out the most, and they stole the most bases. This year, it's a slightly different story. A little bit less offense from Transylvania, but the pitching staff, they have pitched really well. Best ERA in the Heartland.
Yeah, they have been terrific this year, and I'm really interested to see how Rose-Hulman fares with this. They are on their home turf here today, but like you mentioned, Transylvania has by far and away the best pitching staff in all of HCAC play, so it's going to be a tough matchup today for the Fightin' Engineers. We'll see how they fare.
Well, that Transylvania pitching staff will go up against a Rose-Hulman offense that is heating up at the right time. A couple weeks ago, just 14 home runs. They've doubled that number since we were last here at RHIT Field. They're up to 29, now second in home runs in the Heartland Conference.
Yeah, that's over the last 3 weeks, so they have really exploded in that time since. And, you ask anybody across any sport, it doesn't matter if it's baseball, football, hockey, water polo, basketball, it's all the same thing. You want to be playing your best down the stretch of the season and into the postseason. And offensively, that's exactly what Rose-Hulman has done. And so the Fightin' Engineers need to continue that towards the postseason. And that's something that Transylvania has to be wary of, at least their pitching staff has to be wary of coming into this game. And it's going to be really fun to see which one is able to overtake the other. Will it be the pitching of Transylvania, or will it be the explosive offense as of recently for Rose-Hulman?
And you'll see the Rose-Hulman starters going onto the field here at RHIT. Tomorrow is senior day, so a lot of emotions. Very big senior class here at Rose-Hulman. They're very much led by a large senior group. Head coach Adam Rosen in his fourth season talked to me earlier this season, actually during a basketball game, about how much the leadership of his senior group has helped this season and last. And we will take a break here as we honor our national anthem.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new Living Mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity. And that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your students to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Nearly ready to go here at Art Neff Field in Terre Haute. Indiana Sam Cinder alongside Cruz Martin. Just had a wonderful playing of our national anthem. And we will introduce you to the Transylvania starting lineup. It starts with Ethan Dillon, the center fielder, then Seda Shiratori, the shortstop. Baxter Tedesco hits third and plays third base. Henry Mitchum cleans up, followed by Austin Taylor. Chris Hettinger, a lot of home runs, the power hitter for Transylvania, will play left field, followed by Houston Manning. Bryce Dreyer is the catcher, and Max Finn will play right field and bat ninth. And that lineup will go up against the Friday night starter, Brady Strawmeyer, for the Engineers.
Yeah, he's one of the better pitchers on this pitching staff for the Fighting Engineers, making his 11th start on the season, is approaching his 57th full inning of work, leads the team in strikeouts on the year, also leads the teams in innings pitched this year as well. Now, has obviously given up the most hits on this Rose-Hulman pitching staff, I should say, by a large margin, but whenever you have pitched nearly 20 innings more than the next closest pitcher in that category, that thing's going to tend to happen. So it's going to be a good arm to put out there for this Rose-Hulman team, especially against an offense that's pretty solid in its own right in this Transylvania team.
Who are a couple guys in this Transy lineup you think Strawmeyer's got to really be careful with?
Well, there's a couple that stand out to me, and the first one obviously is Seda Shiratori, who leads the team in hits so far on the season. But you also have to look out for Ethan Dillon. He's leading off this game at center field, batting first. 36 runs on the season. He has 44 hits. That's 2 off the team lead. Has also driven in the most runs on the year as well at 33. And so, to be honest with you, though, Sam, this entire, I would say, 6 or 7 people in this 9-man lineup for this Transylvania team all are very dangerous. So there really aren't a whole lot of weak spots that are standing out to me.
The southpaw Strawmeyer's got to be careful with Dillon, as you mentioned. Got to keep him off the base paths. 19 steals this season. We saw what an effect a player like Josh Gervin for Franklin can have impact-wise on the base paths, and how that kind of scrambled with Rose-Hulman. So the southpaw Strawmeyer will be greeted by Dillon, the freshman leadoff man, as we are all set to go. As you mentioned, Cruz, Dillon hitting .319, great freshman year, 5 homers, has driven in a team-leading 33. And the first pitch is right back up the middle. Nice backhand play by Oliger. 1 pitch, 1 down.
That's a really good start for Rose-Hulman. You take out the lead batter on the first pitch. You save some time on the mound for Strawmeyer, your starter. And like you mentioned, the base stealing potential in Ethan Dillon, 19 for 21 on the year in terms of stolen bases. You keep him off the base bags. That's one less thing you have to worry about.
So here's the man from Tokyo, Seda Shiratori. He'll take outside. It's 1-0. Well, we just saw Oliger at second. Up the middle, his partner is Peter Rogers at short. O'Connell and Cernak on the corners. Jackson Summers, Colton Brown, and Tyler Otrusco left to right. Another chance for Oliger at second. He'll glove and throw on to first.
Well, Oliger's already getting his work cut out for him here over at second base. And, it's good to see Oliger have a little bit more confidence. He had a couple of shakeups the last time we were here about 3 weeks ago, but so far he's looked cool, calm, and collected over there at second base.
Well, how about pitch efficiency, Cruz? 3 pitches to get just 2 outs. And now he'll deal to Baxter Tedesco. First one in there for a strike.
And that's one thing that could play potentially a big role in this series is the amount of pitchers that you go through. And obviously the less pitchers you go through, the more you'll have at your expenditure down the stretch of this game. Or I should say down the stretch of the series, and even the season in some cases. So the good news is for Rose-Hulman, they haven't had to put too many taxing pitches on Strawmeyer here early.
Swing and a miss from Tedesco, and Strawmeyer's ahead 1-2. And to your point, Cruz, doubleheader tomorrow. Got to have pitching for that.
I think taking game 1 of this series will be massive for whichever team can take it.
Tedesco, another freshman. So a lot of key contributors from the young guys for Transylvania. 1-2. Downstairs, tried the breaking ball and missed.
And Tedesco's an extremely aggressive batter. He leads the team in strikeouts this year with 36, but also somehow leads the team in on-base percentage.
Walks a lot, strikes out a lot. And this one's up the middle. Can it be 3 for Oliger? Yes, it can. He ties a major league records in putouts for an inning. That's 3. 1-2-3 inning for Strawmeyer. And the Rose-Hulman bats will be coming up next here on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. Feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
A dominant first inning of work for Brady Strawmeyer. Now the Rose-Hulman bats will look to give them the early lead. Starts with Peter Rogers at short, then Tyler Otrusco will hit second. He's the right fielder. Connor O'Connell, dangerous bat for Rose-Hulman, will hit third. Mason Rasmussen does the cleanup. Jackson Harms will bat fifth. Colton Brown, the center fielder, bats sixth. Jackson Summers plays left and bats seventh. Mark Cernak drops down in the order at eighth. He's playing first base. And Jonathan Oliger, who we saw a lot in the top of the first, will play second and bat ninth. And that lineup goes up against the right-hander, Drew Bowles.
Yeah, Bowles on the season with a 3.26 ERA. One put out would give him his 50th complete inning on the season. 20 walks as opposed to 66 strikeouts, so a nice strikeout to walk ratio for Drew Bowles. Now, he has been known to give up the long ball, not in terms of home runs, but just extra base hits. He has 14 that leads the team so far this year. But again, he's also the distance arm for this team. 49 2/3 is by far and away the most innings pitched by anyone on this Transylvania pitching staff. So again, whenever you go for that long, you're going to tend to have numbers that are higher than everyone else's in that category.
Overall, the number is still good, though. 3.26 ERA. Gave him 5 innings last time out against Mount St. Joseph. And he'll look to give him some innings here against the Engineers. First one to Rogers over to third. And playing in was Tedesco, and he'll gun out Rogers. So both sides, we've seen one pitch, one out to start the game. Very helpful for your pitcher.
Well, I'd be surprised if this game continues like this, but let's say these teams do string together a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings. I wonder what the record for the fastest HCAC baseball game ever is, because right now we're on pace to break that, I'm sure, whatever it is.
So Tedesco was in at third for the speedy Rogers. Strike to Etrusco. He'll stay in just off the grass for Etrusco, the right fielder. Lined up the middle and off the glove of the second baseman, Mitchum, and into center field. So a one-out single for Etrusco, and we have our first base runner of this game.
That was a tough break there for Mitchum right there. Just a little bit on the outside of his glove. He couldn't web it. That's a good start for Rose-Hulman, offensively speaking. Contact off the bat, and you're able to run it out. That's exactly why you run it out, because you never know what's going to happen on the fielding attempt.
Might have knuckled a bit on Mitchum. It looked like he was hit harder than it probably was. So here's O'Connell. He'll take upstairs. Such a dangerous hitter this guy is. Was 3 for 4 in the midweek, including a home run. His 6th homer of the season. Outpaces the team. 38 driven in. 1-0. Swing and a miss.
He leads his team with home runs on the year, RBIs, 20 walks on the season as well. That's second on this Rose-Hulman team, so good plate discipline as well for Connor O'Connell, who's by far and away one of the best baseball players all around for this RHIT team.
And an underrated thing is plate discipline. So since last time we were here, April 13th, he's walked 12 times, has just struck out 3. 1-1. Curveball breaks in there for a strike. Nice breaking pitch from Bowles, and he's ahead 1-2.
Yeah, how about that, though? Every single time that he's struck out, he's walked 4 times in between since that time since. So give him a lot of credit. It's one of the reasons why this Rose-Hulman team has been hot as of lately.
So Etrusco is off first. 1-2. Out. Ooh, called strike 3. On a pitch that appeared outside, and O'Connell does not like the call. 2 down.
That was outside. Now, I don't know. We don't have a shot directly behind the plate, so we're off to the side a little bit. It could be a little bit challenging to see. It was definitely down there. They're going to say it caught the corner, though. That's a big second out for this Transylvania team as well with a runner on.
And now Rasmussen will take a strike. And I'll tell you, usually when you have a guy with a reputation like O'Connell, where he's walked, like we said, 12 times, just struck out 3 since the 13th of April, you get the benefit of those calls. Popped up, foul ground. Over is the first baseman, Austin, and that will get out of play.
Neither of these teams have had trouble making contact with the ball. There's no question about that. And so far, at least for the most part, other than that one lapse that we saw with Transylvania's defense, both of these teams have been strong defensively up to this point, even though it is still early.
So Bowles ahead 0-2. Inside, nearly hit him.
And Bowles didn't like where that breaking ball was at. It was way too far inside for his own liking. You could tell as soon as he threw it, he quickly turned his back. Was hoping that he wouldn't hit him.
One of those backup spinners that you definitely don't intend to throw and just hope it doesn't find the middle of the plate. Another one the other way, foul ground from Rasmussen, and this will get into the Transylvania bullpen. So one of the longer bats we've seen early. A nice battle from Rasmussen and Bowles. And another one fouled off. Well, I'll tell you, Cruz, Rasmussen may go a little bit under the radar. He's hitting .331, 10 doubles, 12 extra base hits on the year. Big contributor in the middle of this order.
Yeah, he doesn't lead the team at any statistics, but he's in contention for the lead for a majority of them, including hits. You mentioned doubles as well as home runs.
And that's down the line. A fair ball from Rasmussen might have another extra base hit. He's going for second, and he'll be there. A 2-out double for Mason Rasmussen and a couple runners in scoring position for the Engineers.
I was just talking about how he was in contention for the team lead in doubles. He's not only 3 away from holding that mark, so Mason Rasmussen making me look like I'm smarter than I actually am. And after a quick start to this inning for Transylvania, how about Rose Holman starting to come alive here towards the middle of the order, Sam?
Well, a big two-out opportunity for their freshman, Jackson Harms. First home run was a grand slam. Now up to 2 homers on the year. First one to him. Check swing. Did not go. It's 1-0. It's been really hot of late. 2 for 5 in the midweek, 4 for 8 against Anderson last weekend. And ahead in the count, 2-0.
He was implemented into the lineup a little bit after the season began, and he has done a terrific job at stepping in that DH spot.
And so now with Bowles falling behind, Dreyer will go talk to him. The catcher comes out. Big spot here. You don't want to have a lapse and fall behind early if you're Transylvania.
Especially on the road in the first game of a 3-game series, and you still have to worry about the back-to-back tomorrow. You know, the last thing that you want to do, especially when you're in a situation like we have right now in the HCAC standings, I should say, is to fall behind in this series early, not just this game.
And after the quick start, 1 pitch, 1 out, a long battle against Rasmussen. Now behind in the count to Harms, and the pitch count for the first inning is creeping up there. And now it's 3-0.
That's why getting this third out right here is going to be crucial, because a base hit here would extend the inning. Rose Holman would still have the momentum going into the next at-bat with Colton Brown, who's been known to cause some damage.
Well, he swings 3-0 and he pops it up. First base side, and it is the first baseman, Austin Taylor, to make the grab. 3-0 swing. It cost Rose Holman. They strand 2 runners. It's 0-0 through an inning here on RHIT.TV.
At the end of the bottom of the first, 0.
Heartland Conference Baseball is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors in and throughout Indiana. Nothing runs like a deer. Give us a call today, 317-849-0810. Well, as good of a first inning as you could have if you're Brady Strawmeyer. He'll look to build on that here in the second against 4, 5, and 6. Mitchum, Taylor, and Hettinger.
And he pitched into contact each of the first 3 at-bats, but give a lot of credit to Oliger over there at second base. He was ready to go and was able to make 3 quick putouts. Rose Holman's defense is really churning over the course of those first 3 at-bats.
And Transylvania remains aggressive. First pitch swinging was Mitchum, came up empty. It's 0-1.
And the good news is, Sam, for a lot of these defenders, especially further out, there's not a whole lot of wind where we're at, so that ball's not going to carry nearly as much. It should be easy reads.
Grounder over to short. There's Rogers. 4 up, 4 down for Strawmeyer.
Again, positive sign if you're Transylvania. You've made contact on all 4 of the at-bats so far today. Not a single batter has gone down swinging.
But it's
in
weak
the
contact.
Conventional sense. It is weak contact, though. You are correct. It's that weak grounder contact. So you're still putting the barrel on the ball. Now, you've got to be able to focus on trying to, get whatever you can into the outfield potentially. Lofting it up a little bit, but obviously not too high.
Well, a beautiful first pitch breaking ball gets Strawmeyer ahead of Austin Taylor. 0-1. Taylor hitting .275 so far this season and is now down in the count 0-2. And this is the first big sign. If you're any pitcher, but particularly Strawmeyer, you got to get ahead, and he's certainly done that. Lined over and through the right side. So a one-out single for Austin Taylor. And Transylvania has their first base runner.
That was a bit of an odd location to try to go after between first base and second base. I don't know if Serdenak, if he would have committed to that, would he have been able to get the ball? I'm not sure, but the thing is, if you go after the ball, somebody has to call it off and you have to commit to it. Instead, the ball gets through the gap right there. Nobody can make a play on it. And you give up the first hit of the afternoon.
Not particularly hard hit, but a nice job by Taylor to put the ball in play, use the whole field, and he's rewarded.
And there's a little bit of hesitance between either Serdenak or Oliger of who should have went after that one. I very well think one of those two definitely could have gotten to it, but nonetheless, you just got to focus on getting the rest of the side retired and not giving up any damage.
1-1 on Hettinger. Leads the team with 6 homers. And he'll line this sharply and through the middle. That's the first hard hit one and back-to-back singles for Transylvania.
And Transylvania hasn't had a problem with getting contact, but like you mentioned a couple of moments ago, it had been weak contact. And even on that last hit, it was still weak contact. And obviously the first hard hit ball of the day for Transylvania. After that quick 1-2-3 inning in the top part of the first, well, Transylvania's starting to come alive a little bit.
Well, first time they'll have a runner in scoring position. Couple runners on. We'll see how Strawmeyer navigates his way out of this. He'll face Houston Manning. And the first one's upstairs. Manning, a .328 hitter, slightly less at bats. 5 extra base hits, has not left the park just yet. And an inside move to keep Taylor honest over at second.
And Taylor is a very efficient base stealer, so a good sign right there for Rose-Hulman's defense to be on alert just in case he does decide to go. 9 for 10 on the year, so doesn't go a whole lot, but considering he's also third on the team in stolen bases on the year, he's one of the more likely culprits to try to steal an extra 90.
Behind in the count 2-0. 3-0. Well, this has happened pretty quickly, Cruz. A ball away from loading the bases after retiring the first 4. And there's ball 4. So a walk loads the bases for Transylvania. 3 straight have reached. And a golden opportunity for the catcher, Bryce Dreyer.
Dreyer on the year, 12 hits to his name, only 2 extra base hits, but and only 8 RBIs on the year. So not a bad person to go up against if you're Strawmeyer. But nonetheless, I mean, all it takes is one swing of the bat, and Dreyer was maybe a couple of milliseconds too late on that one. He might have been able to put it into play.
Well, he's a strikeout candidate, 21 strikeouts this season, and Strawmeyer is looking for a K here. 0-1. Swing and a miss, it's 0-2.
Well, this has been the difference in this at-bat compared to the others. He's ahead of the count early, and you mentioned it a couple of at-bats ago. That's what he had been really good up to this point. Not so much in the last 3 at-bats.
0-2. Just getting a piece is Dreyer. Went with the breaking ball. We'll see how he decides to go off of that. Likes his big left-handed breaker. Uses the 4-seam up. 0-2. Another breaker, and it's shoot the other way. This is going to be a tough play, and it's going to land fair. Over Zatrusco to get it, but it's going to be a 2 RBI single. Now the ball is going to go into shallow left field. O'Connell's there to get it. but the throw from Etrusco into second allowed a second runner to score. So Taylor is in, as is Hettinger, and it's a 2-0 lead for Transylvania.
And that was a big spot right there for Bryce Dreyer. And that ball, he had enough spin on it to where it would just kept carrying towards that line. I mean, it was barely fair. And Rose Holman really, really, really lucky that Connor O'Connell was able to flag that ball down before it drifted into foul territory. This easily could have been a 3-0 ball game instead of a 2-0 ball game.
So now the 9-man Max Finn. And he'll loft one foul down the right field line. Evens the count up 1-1. Finn struggled last weekend against Mount St. Joseph, 0 for 9, just 1 for his last 11. But does have power, the freshman, 5 homers in his freshman campaign. Transylvania trying to build on their 2-0 lead. Just 1 out, runners on the corners here in the second. And he'll take a strike.
Those 5 home runs are tied for second on the team, so he's definitely going to be a player to watch as his career continues forward here in the HCAC.
1-2. Fouled straight back.
You know, Sam, every single year when baseball season starts and balls keep getting fouled back right towards us, I'm usually a little bit of a flincher, but I think I've finally outgrown that this year. Just in time for the postseason.
Just so we're clear, we've got a net and then a glass window. So we've got 2 layers of protection. And now some protection for Strawmeyer. Curveball in the outside corner. Called strike 3. A big second out as he tries to limit the damage.
Yeah, that's a huge second out because you've got potentially the 3rd run of this inning standing 90 feet away from home. You get that second out, though. Now you have a play, a force out at any potential bag that is going to be taken. You'd have to think first or second base is going to be your first look right here because the runner at third does not necessarily have to go if he doesn't want to.
Well, got to deal with Dillon again, second time through the order. Got him to ground out his first time. He'll take upstairs. It's 1-0. Dillon also, while the number's impressive, does strike out quite a lot. And lines this sharply into center field. An RBI single for Ethan Dillon. They've hit Strawmeyer hard in the second, and it's 3-0.
Now batting number 26, Sita.
You had to think with the contact that Transylvania was getting in that first inning, they weren't going down swinging. And so you had to think that eventually Transylvania, especially the second time through, would be able to figure things out, but it didn't even take them a full trip through the lineup card to start getting hot. And as soon as it flips over, Ethan Dillon's able to cash in as well.
Cruz, it's interesting because this team does strike out. This isn't necessarily a contact-oriented team. It's a 3-true outcome team. And it's a team that prioritizes getting on base. Some less power than last year, but still the same identity, the same core.
You know, sometimes that's just the way that the game of baseball works, though. Sometimes that, some things that happen tend to not make a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things, and that's why a lot of people love this sport. It's because of the unpredictability sometimes of it. Sometimes teams and players will get hot and you can't really explain why. It just happens.
1-1 upstairs to Shiratori.
You gotta think, though, that this is also a team that's at the top of the standings in the HCAC for a reason.
Well, we know they pitch well, and the offense is figuring it out as the season goes on. Count even 2-2 on Seda Shiratori. Ground out victim his first time. Long inning here for Transylvania. They've tallied 3 on 4 hits. Two. Dribbled foul at the plate, and these guys, they're not going down on strikes today, Cruz. They are battling up there.
They certainly are, and rightfully so, they have a lot of confidence to be swinging the bat. They've hardly had any players go down without a potential for contact.
This should be playable for Colton Brown in center. He'll make the play. Shiratori flies out, but not before 3 come across for Transylvania on 4 hits. They lead at 3-0 through an inning and a half here on RHIT.TV.
Due up for Rose Holman, Brown, Summer.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We are not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
RHIT.TV is sponsored by Morales Group Staffing. We're in business to create a better future for you, for your family, and for the community we share. We can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. Call us today, 317-472-7600. So Rose Holman down 3-0.
Leading off for the Fighting Engineers.
They'll try to work their way back here in the bottom of the second. Brown, Summers, and Serdenak due up against Bowles. Both pitchers had a very strong first inning of work. But in the second, it did not go Strawmeyer's way. Now the Rose Holman bats will look to pick him up.
Yeah, and Strawmeyer pitched to contact in that first inning, but, you know, Transylvania was able to cash in on it, something they weren't able to do in the top of the first inning. So give Transylvania a lot of credit. We're going to see if Rose Holman can respond right here.
Outside, and it's 1-1.
Looked like that might have went off the face mask of Bryce Dreyer as he tried to flag that one down. I think he changed the trajectory. The ball came up, hit him in the face mask, then bounced off.
One. Grounded and through. That's going to be into right field, and Colton Brown's going to wind up at second. I jumped the gun there, Cruz. I thought there was no way that Seda Shiratori was going to get to that in the hole. And he did get there, but the throw was wild, and so Brown winds up at second on the throwing error.
Yeah, and I like the hustle over there, over at shortstop. I mean, look at that right there. That's an incredible play. Now, if I'm him, though, I might be holding on to that ball because you're barely going to beat out that throw regardless. And if you do try to get the throw over there in time, it's going to go away. That's exactly what happened. And so instead of just giving up a base hit, you give up an extra 90 feet. Now you've already given up a runner in scoring position.
So Rose Holman will look to make him pay. First one inside with a breaking ball. It's 1-0. And Shiratori's got some range over there at short.
And maybe that's a play that, you know, he usually makes. Maybe on the weekend, but if I'm him, hang on to that.
Downstairs, it squirts away from Dreyer, and Brown will scoot on to third.
And Sam, look how much of a difference that one throw from shortstop over to first makes now. If that ball comes past like it just did, he advances over to second where he was just at. Now instead, if you're Transylvania, you've got the potential first run for the Fighting Engineers only 90 feet away instead of potentially 180 feet away.
So a couple chances for Productive Out to score the first Engineer run. Outside 3-0 on Summers.
And his breaking ball hasn't been where he wants to. We saw the one that was inside. He's thrown that same breaking ball a couple of times, but his placement just hasn't been where he wants it.
So this time, Rose Holman will take a strike on a 3-0 count. You know, we didn't really get to talk about that in the bottom of the first inning with runners at second and third. Jackson Harms swinging 3-0, and broken bat right back to Bowles. He'll recover and get Summers at first. My goodness. Brown stays at third as that bat just shattered.
The umpires are going to examine it. I mean, we're going to get a replay of it right here. Look at this.
Well, here's the thing, Cruz. This doesn't happen in collegiate sports because they're using metal bats.
Yeah, that's aluminum right there. That's not wood. That's not lumber in his hands. That's pure straight metal right there. And it's not every day you see that. You stick around the sport long enough, though, you tend to see stuff like that. And I guess today was our day.
That is crazy. It feels like it's every day, though. Seriously, today it was the broken bat, metal bat. Tomorrow it could be something else.
I think that ball hit it right at the point where the bat starts to slim down a little bit too. That's a weak point on that bat. So, just the right storm for something like that to happen.
You can get you can get some vibration on your hands when you get that. But I can't say it enough. I've never seen that happen with a bat like that. Downstairs, 1-0 on Cerdenac. They've dropped him down in the order. Traditionally, a solid piece in the middle of this order for Rose-Hulman. And we'll send that over to second. Fielded over there by Mitchum, but he does the job. An RBI ground out gets Rose-Hulman on the board. It's 3-1.
He got that productive out. The concerning thing about that broken bat a couple of pitches ago was that you weren't able to drive in that run because the ball was still in the infield. You could still throw him out over at home plate. And so you weren't able to have that productive out, but you're able to get it there. You're able to trim back into this lead a little bit. Yes, you have 2 outs, but some momentum.
First pitch swinging is Oliger. Gets a tip. And it's 0-1. One and one. Oliger done a lot of the closing for Rose-Hulman on the mound. Two-way player. And sends this one into shallow right. Going back is the second baseman Mitchum. Coming in the right fielder Finn. And it's Finn to make the grab. So Rose-Hulman does get on the board, aided by an error. An unearned run comes across. It's 3-1 Transylvania as we head to the third here on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. Feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
The score through 2 innings here at Art Neff Field. Transylvania leads Rose-Hulman. Third inning of work for Brady Strawmeyer. Very dominant 1-2-3 inning in the first. Struggled in the second. Gave up 4 hits and 3 runs. So he'll look for a bounce back third inning of work.
Strawmeyer has left a couple out there that Transylvania has been able to put the bat on. And that wasn't problematic in the first inning because every single ball that was hit right over toward second base, and so it was an easy play for the Rose-Hulman defense. But Transylvania was able to figure out a couple of things and put the ball into play to where the Rose-Hulman defense couldn't get to it. So we'll just have to see where Transylvania places a couple of these hits that they're undoubtedly going to be able to get.
Check swing, yes he did. So a nice start for Strawmeyer. He's ahead of Tedesco 0-2. 3, 4, and 5 due up. Tedesco, Mitchum, and Taylor. 0-2. Upstairs. So the interesting thing with Strawmeyer, because he's been the horse for Rose-Hulman over his time here with the Engineers, but has struggled against Transylvania. Called strike 3, ran the fastball right in there, and caught Tedesco looking for the first out of the third.
That's huge for Strawmeyer because This is a team that only has, I believe, 2 strikeouts so far the first time and a half through the order, at least the first time through the order. And now in your third batter the second way around. But again, you get off to a positive start getting that first put out. Now you have a little bit to build off of.
Swing and a miss for Mitchum, and now we're starting to see some of the swing and miss stuff from Strohmeyer. Froze Tedesco with a fastball. It's been the curveball primarily for swing and miss. And there it is. And it's 0-2 on Mitchum.
That was a really good-looking breaking ball right there. That started way up and just dropped through the floor as it came across the plate.
Fastball ran outside. One-two. Sent out over into right. Etrusco has it played for out number 2.
Now batting number 5.
Well, what I was going to say about Strohmeyer is the guy has been really good. 4.62 ERA in this league is a good number. But his last time out against Transylvania just got through an inning and a third, gave up 9 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, walked 3, did not strike out a batter, so has struggled with this team. Sent into right center, long way to go for Etrusco, but he'll be there to make the play. So a real strong third inning of work for Strohmeyer. Gets the Pioneers 1-2-3. Rose Holman coming to bat in the bottom of the third, trailing 3-1 here on RHIT.tv.
And O'Connell.
RHIT.tv is brought to you by Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. When you need a safe, dependable workforce for a new build, an upgrade, or facility maintenance, you can count on Boilermakers Local Union 374 to do your job right the first time.
Leading off for the Fighting Engineers.
Third inning of work
Peter
for Drew
Rogers.
Bowles. He's thrown the ball well as held Rose home with just 1 unearned run that came last inning in the bottom of the second, and will face the order a second time through Rogers, Etrusco, and O'Connell here in the third.
Sam, one thing that can't be understated is how quickly this game has moved so far. This is a 6 o'clock first pitch. At 6:41 right now. We're already a third of the way through this game. I mean, that's on pace for a 2-hour baseball game if my math isn't wrong, and I don't believe it is.
We're playing some higher quality baseball, and I don't like the look of this. Immediately running out of the Transylvania dugout is Zach Getsy. And when you see something like that after a pitch where the pitcher immediately turns his back, you got to think injury. Now, fortunately, this looks more strategic talk from Getsy, as he doesn't like his pitcher falling behind Rogers. 2-0. Rogers, a very speedy hitter, as we know, does a lot of damage on the base paths. 20 stolen bases on the season. And a guy in a close game, 3-1, you don't want the Rose Holman offense to start to click.
Well, you're also going up against the top of the order, too. These are the best hitters on this Rose Holman team.
Way inside, and it's 3-0.
So that's the last thing that you want to do against the best hitters on this Rose Holman team is fall behind, because that'll give them the green light to try to go after whatever they want.
Hitters count here for Rogers. And he'll take ball 4. Oh! A late called strike 2. Rogers was halfway down the first base line. And we've seen a couple of those from our home plate umpire today, who has been ringing up some Rose-Hulman batters on pitches that appear outside the zone. So we have a full count, 3-2. And that one is ball 4.
Well, instead of jogging 90 feet, he got to jog an extra 45, so making it even 135, why don't you? But nonetheless, still able to get a runner on base to lead off this inning for Rose-Hulman. And after that slow start offensively, it seems as though they're starting to figure some stuff out here.
And now inside to Etrusco. So some command issues here in the third for Bowles. And I'll tell you, Cruz, that 3-2 take from Rogers is gutsy. When you get a couple calls on you that you know are a little bit outside, it takes guts to take another close one because you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to leave your fate up to the hands of the home plate umpire. But he got the call on 3-2, a leadoff base runner for Rose-Hulman. And they got some of their power hitters here ready to battle with Bowles.
Our home plate umpire's got a nice little arm on him, too. Took the ball out of his pocket and threw it right over to Bowles on the mound for Transylvania, right into his glove. He didn't even have to move it. Usually he just hands it to the catcher.
He wants to show off a little bit. I don't blame him.
I don't either. You have to think, though, usually umpires are people who have been around the game for a long time and have had some history with the game as well. And so maybe we shouldn't be as surprised as we are.
Well, he's fallen behind Etrusco. It's 2-1. And now it's 3-1. And Etrusco's not the guy you want to fall behind. When he gets into a hitter's count, he can really square up the ball. He's hot of late, too. 6 for his last 14, if you go back to last week against Anderson. A .383 hitter.
Well, Sam, if I'm Etrusco, I'm not even lifting the bat off my shoulder this time around.
He'll take a pitch on the corner, and the count goes full.
And I don't blame Etrusco right there. Obviously, I was the one who said he shouldn't lift the bat off his shoulder, and rightfully so. I mean, that was very close to that corner. Could have been called either way.
3-2. Chopper and Chiratori gets the play in the hole, and it's too late for the speedy Rogers at second. Nearly an unbelievable play by Chiratori. You can never doubt his ability to get the ball in that 5-6 hole. But Etrusco is able to get a board on the infield single as we get a second look at Chiratori's range.
He has no problem of flagging those balls down. Now, the problem is, though, in a lot of those situations, he has his back turned to where his play is eventually going to be. It's really hard, Sam, to try to turn your back and throw an accurate ball to wherever you're trying to throw it in that kind of situation.
O'Connell takes the first pitch for a strike, and I got to give him credit because, one, he got to that ball, but two, he made an accurate throw to second base. And that's a play where, like a fadeaway shot in basketball, where your momentum is going away from the bag. You got to put on a strong throw, and he nearly got Rogers.
And he made the smart read, too. Instead of trying to throw it over to first, take the easy throw, or the easier throw in that case, the shorter throw, and try to get the lead runner as well. Knock two birds out with one stone. And again, just because his momentum was taking him back the other way, he was turning, just didn't have enough on that throw, but he made the right decision.
0-2. Swing and a miss. O'Connell goes down on 3 pitches. So a massive first out for Bowles.
Yeah, I think he wishes he could get that at bat back right there. I mean, that ball was low.
41,
Seems as though he decided he was ready to go before he actually saw the pitch. And so a rough outing right there for O'Connell, who typically is one of the strongest batters.
Rasmussen takes outside, but this guy is one of the hottest Rose-Hulman batters of late. 6 for 11 against Mount St. Joseph over the weekend, including a homer and a double. Continued his hot hitting against Wabash and is now 8 for his last 16. But pops this one up. Behind the plate is Dreyer. Tough play for a catcher, but he'll make it. And there's out number 2. Typically, Cruz, that's such a tough play for the catcher because the ball is spinning the opposite way. You want your corner infielder to go get it, although it's a long way to go. But nice job by Dreyer to take command and make the play.
Not only that, it's straight up, too, and sometimes those can be hard to read because the ones that go straight up, you can barely tell if they're breaking one way or the other as they fall back down to earth.
So 2 outs now for Harms, and he'll ground this one over to Shiratori. He's so slick with the glove and will go the short way and get the force at second on Etrusco. So Bowles works his way out of a jam, and Transylvania is taking the 3-1 lead into the 4th here on RHIT.TV.
0 runs, 0 hits, 0 errors, and 2 left on base.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt.
Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
We got a good one here at Art Neff Field. It's 3-1 Transylvania heading into the middle innings, and it's all made possible by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have consistently been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehousing fulfillment, and transportation needs. We stand as your comprehensive logistics partner. Ride with us. Call us today, 317-396-1023. Strawmeyer back out for the 4th. And the curveball is low. Check swing by Hettinger. He did not go. Hettinger singled his first time, came around to score on the 2 RBI double by Dreyer. And grounds this one over to O'Connell at third. Nice backhand play. Long throw across the diamond. He'll get him. 1 down.
That was a really good-looking throw right there, and a good job by O'Connell to make sure that he had the proper grip on the ball and lined up his throw before he let it go. He was cutting it close with the timing of it as we take another look at it right here. And this is just a really picture-perfect put-out over there at third base. And watch right here. He's going to put it into his glove, make sure he has it. Then all it takes is the arm strength right there to get it over there from third to first in time.
Ball low to Manning. It's 1-0. So other than a rough second inning, Strawmeyer's thrown well. Flied out to deep right field. Etrusco back in front of the track is able to run it down. Nice running grab by Tyler Etrusco for the second out.
He was on his horse from the get-go on that one. That's a tough play, too. The ball's curling away from you. It's a really hard read to make. But a lot of credit right there, being able to run it out for Etrusco. Never quit on that play right there. Was able to make the put out near the warning track.
So Dreyer had the big hit in the second. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. It's 0-1. Shot an RBI, 2 RBI single. A little bit of a blooper into shallow right field. Takes upstairs. It's 1-1. All the scoring has been done in the second for Transylvania. 1 run came across for Rose Holman in the bottom half of the second. That's how we get to a 3-1 game. And I'll tell you, Cruz, other than the second inning, where Strawmeyer gave up 4 hits, he's retired every batter. 1, 2, 3 in the first, 1, 2, 3 in the third, and has retired the first 2 here in the 4th. Check swing. No, he did not. And out comes head coach Adam Rosen. not happy with the officiating so far through the first 3 frames. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strohmeyer blew it by him. He strikes out Dreyer, his 3rd strikeout of the game. A 1-2-3 fourth, and Rose Holman is due up here in the bottom of the 4th. 6, 7, and 8 as they try to claw back 3-1 Transylvania on RHIT.TV.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 mile an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose Holman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
RHIT.TV is brought to you by Dynamark. Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service. Call us today, 317-328-2555. Colton Brown leads off for Rose Holman here in the bottom half of the 4th. And we'll take a strike. It's 0-1. Cruz, it's been kind of an opposite story for Strohmeyer and Bowles. Bowles has allowed at least a hit in every inning. As that's popped up by Brown, it will get out of play. But hasn't allowed an earned run. He's avoided damage. Stranded some base runners. On the other side, Strohmeyer, 1 bad inning in the 2nd where he allowed some runners in scoring position to come in, but other than that, has not even allowed a base runner. As Brown goes down on strikes.
I think at the end of the day, Transylvania, even though they have given up a hit in each of the innings so far today, has to feel a little bit better about the scoring disparity. Obviously 3-1 in favor of Transylvania. So you're willing to give up those hits as long as you find a way to score more runs than the other team. I think that would be a fair trade that Transylvania would be more than willing to take.
0-1. Summers squares to bunt, and he gets it down. A beauty. And Tedesco wasn't able to make the transition. A bunt single for Jackson Summers, and he's aboard.
I mean, that is a beautiful bunt right there, right along the third base line. I mean, that's right in the middle of no man's land right there. I mean, who's going to go get it? Is it going to be Bowles, the pitcher? Is it going to be Tedesco over at third base, who eventually was the one to go after it, or will it be Dreyer behind the plate? I mean, that's the decision that you have to make, and then once you can't field it cleanly, it's easy going the rest of the way.
Chance here for Shiratori. On to second for 1. Back to first. Not in time. So fielder's choice retires Summers, and Cernak takes his place at first, but with 2 down.
And obviously not an ideal situation right there for Rose Holman, because now you only have 1 out with 2 outs instead of 2 on with 1 out. There's a gigantic difference between that.
Well, I'll tell you, both teams have been extremely aggressive. A lot of first pitch swinging. That's why the pace of the game has been so quick.
It would be ideal, Sam, for this Transylvania, for this Rose Holman team, I should say, is if you can find a way to get Oliger on base, you'd have 2 on. You'd still have 2 out, but you turn that lineup card over and you have some of the best hitters on your roster coming up to bat.
And Oliger is ahead, 2-0. You do not want to walk the 9-man. It's one of those rules in baseball. Oliger flew out to right his first time. And now it's 3-0. 3-0. Inside ball 4. He walks Oliger on 4 pitches. And the lineup will flip over to the top. As you mentioned, Cruz, it's Peter Rogers.
Now batting number 7, Peter Rogers.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot right here for Transylvania. You've got to find a way to get this third put out. I'm not being very aggressive either if I'm Rogers. He just had a 4-pitch walk off the hands of Bowles, so make him deliver something to you in the strike zone before you start becoming aggressive as well.
First pitch breaking ball. Catches the inside corner.
Well, Sam, that's the same pitch that we've seen a couple of times from Bowles where it's been pretty inside. Now, that one wasn't as dramatic as the last couple, but that one's still relatively inside as compared to where the strike zone should be.
This time outside, it's 1-1. Rogers grounded out to third his first time, walked in the third. Serdenak in scoring position at second. Tying run at first is Oliger. 1-1. Slapped the other way, but foul. So Bowles, who momentarily lost command against Oliger, has regained it against Rogers as ahead 1-2. We'll look to put him away. Strand 2 runners. 1-2. Line sharply and over the head of Shiratori and into left center. Here comes Serdenak. He'll score. Going first to third is Oliger. He's in there. It's an RBI single for Peter Rogers, and Rose Holman has climbed within 1. It's 3-2.
That's why that walk against Jonathan Oliger was so big for that Rose Holman offense, because first of all, it keeps the inning alive, and like I mentioned, it brings up that top of the order as well. Good job by Peter Rogers not getting flustered at the plate after falling behind in that count. And he's able to cash in big time right there, and now you have a potential game-tying run 90 feet away with the go-ahead, 270 feet away.
Well, Etrusco has had Bowles' number today. He's 2 for 2 against him. Takes outside. It's 1-0. Runners on the corners. A lot of speed with Rogers at first. We'll see if he wants to go. 20 stolen bases on the season. And Etrusco takes high. It's 2-0. Hitters count. Some trouble here in the fourth for Bowles. He's been able to work out of it all game. Etrusco, deep fly ball, right field. Over circling around it is Finn, and he's able to make the grab on the track for the final out. Rose Holman does get one, an RBI single by Peter Rogers, but they still trail 3-2 as we head to the fifth here on RHIT.TV.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org.
RHIT.TV is brought to you by Officially Human. Our mission is to restore respect to game officials and recognize them as authorities on the fields and courts. Do your part. Practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we can't play. Rose Holman got one back in the bottom of the fourth. Scored one in the bottom of the second, one in the bottom of the fourth, and they trail 3-2 as Strawmeyer fires up and away. It's 1-0 on Max Finn. For Transylvania, all the scoring came in the third. And now Finn lines one sharply, the first base runner for Transylvania since that second inning. It's a leadoff single for Finn. And it flips the lineup over to the top, third time through for Ethan Dillon.
Number 18, Ethan Dillon.
That's a good start for Transylvania after giving up that run and making it a one-run game. And this has been a Pioneers team that has been in a bit of a drought over the last 2 innings or so. So positive sign for the Pioneers. And if you're Rose Holman, you can't get too flustered after that first hit. You've got to remain headstrong. Try to focus on getting these next 3 putouts.
RBI single for Dillon. His last time takes outside. It's 1-0. For Strawmeyer, the biggest thing today is limiting the big inning and hitting with runners in scoring position. Rose Holman has not been too successful in those spots. Transylvania has. Dangerous spot to a real good hitter in Dillon. He's behind 2-0. And Dillon squares to bunt and sends it foul.
He got underneath of that pitch right there. He's very fortunate that wasn't a playable ball for this Rose Holman defense. That's the last thing that you want to do when you're going to bunt, is put that thing up in the air and give the defense an opportunity to catch you out instead of making the throw over to first and doing it the hard way.
Well, he squared to bunt on every pitch, and Strawmeyer, it's messed with him. He's behind 3-1 on a guy that's willing to give himself up. In danger of allowing the first 2 men to reach. And he does get it down, but it will roll foul. So now with 2 strikes, the bunt will come off. You would presume.
You'd have to think at this point. This has been a bit of a strange at-bat, though, to say the least. But I would have to suspect that all the fun and games are going to come to an end on this pitch.
3-2. He's swinging, and it's right back up the middle, but Strawmeyer's got it. On to second for 1. Back to first. There's 2. What a play by Strawmeyer to field his position. 1-6-3. Rose Holman turns it.
Now batting number 26.
And they eliminate the leadoff base runner.
No panic right there at all from Strawmeyer. I mean, he was hit right back towards him. You're going to see it right here on your screen. I mean, it comes right at him. Quick reaction, get the glove right down there. Nice, easy throw over to second and make it sure that you get the lead runner, which is the most important thing. And getting 2 is just a little bit extra on the side right there. You're able to clear the bags, and you're only 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
Outside to Shiratori, it's 1-1, and there's some people with ill intentions that like to think that pitchers are not able to field. And usually they're right, but Strawmeyer's helping out the pitcher's case, making it known that there are athletes on the bump from time to time.
They just never really get to showcase it all that much. Which is all the more impressive because it shows just how ready you have to be out there on the bump.
Outside, 2-2. Shiratori has been retired both times. A ground out in the first, a fly out in the second. 2-2. Hits this sharply into right field, but right there's a Trusco. He's there to make the play. 3 up, 3 down with the help of a double play. 1-6-3. Rose Holman trailing by 1 halfway through here on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose Holman. I feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
You like pitchers duels? We got one here at Art Neff Field, and it's all made possible by IndianaSRN Sports Page. Wall-to-wall sports news every day. High school, college, pro sports. We have it all. Check it out, IndianaSRN.org, and click on the Sports Page tab. Stay informed with the IndianaSRN Sports Page. Well, Bowles has pitched well, ran into a little bit of trouble at the bottom of the fourth, but worked around it to surrender just one run. So his team leads 3-2. As we get ready for the bottom of the fifth inning, 3, 4, and 5 due up. O'Connell, Rasmussen, and Harms. First pitch is swung on and missed. Well, O'Connell, it hasn't been his night thus far. Bowles has had his number. Struck him out on a curveball both times. The first one was a controversial call. The second time, he got him on 3 pitches. And a couple curveballs here have gotten the best of O'Connell early. It's 0-2.
Think about how good of a day Strawmeyer has had for Rose-Hulman up to this point in the day, and Bowles has done largely the same.
Grounded over to second. There's Mitchum. And Bowles retires the leadoff man, one down.
Now batting for the Fine Engineers, number 41,
for Strawmeyer, for Rose-Hulman. I mean, other than that 3 spot in the top of the second, I mean, he has been absolutely terrific. 4 scoreless innings and 2
just
scoreless.
One base runner.
Yeah, exactly. Two scoreless innings for Bowles up to this point, but again, he's only given up 2 runs the entirety of the game. So both of these pitchers have been on.
First pitch swinging is Rasmussen right to Shiratori. He'll throw him out at first, 2 down.
And it's not like either of these two teams have had struggles making contact with the ball either. But the defenses have been a large part of the reason why this game has gone by so quickly as well. I mean, we already hit the halfway point, and we are barely an hour and 10 minutes into this game. I mean, it is flying by.
Inside to Harms, it's 1-0. And it's these pitchers pitching to contact. We don't have the walks we had back on the 13th of April. As a matter of fact, Strawmeyer has not walked a batter. Or he's walked 1, excuse me. And Bowles for Transylvania has walked 2. But keep in mind, walks are very common in this league. They happen quite a lot. So to have just 3 combined walks through the first 5 innings nearly is not a lot. These pitchers have done a good job of attacking opposing hitters.
Oh, certainly. There's no question about it. We expected that coming in for Transylvania. And again, this is one of the best overall pitching staffs, if not the best overall pitching staff in the entirety of the HCAC. But you got to give a lot of credit to Brady Strawmeyer for the way that he's performed so far today as well.
Downstairs 2-0. And part of that is it's Friday night. We get the best of both teams here. You're always going to throw your best guy in the first game of the set. 2-0. Swing and a miss. That curveball from Bowles is really plus.
Yeah, it's been working for him, and it's made a couple of guys look a little bit silly.
Tried more of a slider variant there. Missed outside.
Strawmeyer's done the same thing for Rose-Hulman as well on their defensive side of things.
3-2 popped up in the infield. Everyone converging. And it's the first baseman, Austin Taylor, to make the grab. So 1-2-3 frame for Drew Bowles. And we got a tight 3-2 game heading into the 6th here on RHIT.tv.
Tedesco, Mitchum.
RHIT.TV is sponsored by Make a Difference. Help us put more student athletes on TV by logging on to IndianaSRN.org, directing your donation to a specific school, or hit the donate button. More games, more opportunity for our kids. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat. So Brady Strawmeyer pitching into the 6th inning and fires in a first pitch fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Transylvania. Tedesco, Mitchum, and Taylor. Curveball grounded softly down the third base line, but foul.
I mean, think about the number of 1, 2, 3 innings that Strawmeyer has been able to put together so far. And even in the innings, other than the top of the second, of course. But other than that, I mean, 4 scoreless innings. I mean, not a lot of damage has been done to his arm so far. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes another inning or two, Sam.
That's hit sharply, and underneath O'Connell at third, it completely ate him up. Heading for second is Tedesco. The throw is cut off and then late. So a leadoff double for Baxter Tedesco, and a nice chance for Transylvania to expand their lead.
That's the first hit that Transylvania's, the first big hit that Transylvania's been able to put together in quite some time. I mean, this offense for the Pioneers has been relatively dormant over the course of the last 3 innings, so that's a big shock of energy towards the Transylvania Pioneers, and now we'll see how Rose-Hulman's defense responds. Now with a runner in scoring position, still down by a run.
Well, it's Mitchum, and he squares to bunt. Takes it back and takes a strike. You know that was hit really hard, and O'Connell was patting his chest. It's hit hard, but he's got to stay in front of that ball, at least knock it off himself, which he failed to do, allowing Tedesco to get into scoring position. Bunting again is Mitchum, and it goes foul. Mitchum is the cleanup hitter for Transylvania, and whether it's Dillon leading off, who has a lot of speed, or Mitchum in the 4-hole, they're not afraid to sacrifice a batter to get a runner 90 feet closer, as they know this is a close game and an extra run could make a world of a difference.
Especially in a pitcher's duel. I mean, runs are hard to come by in games like these. I mean, the score right now just shows that. So, you know, any run's going to count. So if you can find a way to manufacture one after a leadoff double, again, which is not an impossible task by any stretch, then that's what they're going to try to do.
0-2. Check swing. No, he did not. Rasmussen behind the plate seemed convinced that he went. It was a close call. And remember, with a 2-man crew, it's hard for the second base umpire to really see that very well. 1-2. Fouled away. And I think that got a car cruise.
It was close to mine. I don't think it was mine. I'm hoping it wasn't mine.
You heard the big ooh from everyone in attendance.
I saw the ricochet. I don't know about that one. I'm going to have to go check that out here in a minute. My fingers are definitely crossed in my pocket right now, though. Need to be smarter about that. Sam, we need to start parking further down the line instead of right behind home plate.
Yeah, we
did not plan that out very well, did we?
1-2. Grounded into the hole and through into right field. Here comes Tedesco, and the throw is cut off. An RBI single for Henry Mitchum. And Transylvania takes a 4-2 lead.
Pioneers, number 5, Austin
That's
Taylor.
a big-time hit right there. We mentioned it just a couple of moments ago. Every single run in this game is going to be monumental to whoever's able to tally them. And just like that, Transylvania is able to double their lead. Again, most games, a 2-run lead doesn't seem very insurmountable, but the way things have gone today, a 2-run lead's a big deal, and Transylvania is going to do anything they can to continue extending that still with no outs.
So Strawmeyer will look to prevent a big inning, but that could be big damage off the bat of Taylor, and it will one-hop the wall. Playing it out there is Summers. He'll fire it back in. Misses the first cutoff man. And coming in standing is Mitchum all the way from first base. It's an RBI double for Austin Taylor. 3 straight hits for Transylvania. and they take a 5-2 lead.
We mentioned it coming into this inning. If Strohmeyer could find a way to keep pitching like he had the last 3 innings, then he wasn't going to have a problem going another inning or two, but maybe I spoke too soon, because Transylvania has really jumped on him here in the top of the 6th. And after what has been a very successful day for him, a multitude of 1, 2, 3 innings, it seems as though his day's starting to come apart at the seams.
We see a couple men trot out to the Rose-Hulman bullpen to get heated up quickly. Aside from 2 bad frames, Strohmeyer has been brilliant as the bunt goes foul from Hettinger. Last time out, he was excellent against Anderson over the weekend. 8 innings of work for him, just allowed 2 runs. So going deep into games is something he's accustomed to doing. But he's run into some problems with the Transylvania offense here in the 6th. Getting the bunt down this time is Hettinger. O'Connell was in. He'll make the play at first, but Hettinger advances Taylor onto third with just 1 out.
He did his job perfectly right there. Laid it down perfectly right along the third base line. That takes what looks to be Connor O'Connell off the bag to try to attack it a little bit. Then he has to make the throw over to first base. Instead, the shortstop has to go over and fill in. It's a really awkward position to try to go and make that play. And so he did his job. You advance the runner. Now you got another run potentially 90 feet away.
First pitch curveball catches the inside corner. It's 0-1. Houston Manning is tasked with the job of getting Taylor in. It would give Transylvania a 4-run lead. And he will do it. Driven out to Colton Brown in center. Plenty deep enough for Taylor to tag up and score. A sac fly for Manning makes it a 3-spot for Transylvania here in the 6th. Combined with their 3-spot in the 2nd, gives them 6 for the game, and they lead 6-2.
It's tough for Brady Strohmeyer because he threw, other than obviously that top of the 2nd, a fantastic game. And, it was only a matter of time before he started running out of gas. But nonetheless, you hate to see a day like that come to an end, especially in that kind of fashion.
Well, it feels like he's thrown way better than 6 earned runs.
And for the most part, he has.
And you're right.
You typically don't see someone who records as many 1, 2, 3 innings as he has give up 6 runs, but the frames where he has given up runs, they've been big spots, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, for Rose-Hulman.
It's been about limiting the damage, and one of the biggest stats in baseball is RISP, hitting with runners in scoring position, and Transylvania has done it in this one. Well, he's ahead of Dreyer, 1-2. Way upstairs, 2-2. And he gets him swinging. Curveball gets Dreyer, but not before 3 more come across for Transylvania. RBI single for Henry Mitchum, RBI double for Austin Taylor, then a sac fly for Hettinger. They lead 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th here on RHIT.TV.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt?
Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot? It's not a game.
RHIT.TV is brought to you by Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry is your independent agent. representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call them today for coverage tomorrow. 317-894-7000. Well, the Transylvania offense, they got to Strohmeyer in the 6th. A couple rough innings is all it took. 3 in the 2nd, 3 in the 6th. And they lead 6-2 as the Rose-Hulman offense will look to catch fire. It's 6, 7, and 8. Colton Brown leads off against Drew Bowles. And we'll take a curveball low. It's 1-0. The first 1-2-3 inning for Bowles came last inning in the 5th. But outside of that, he's worked in and out of trouble. And the difference between what he's had to do and what Strohmeyer's done is pretty ironic considering this game.
Yeah, Strohmeyer's been a lot more variant in the terms of the kinds of innings he's had. When he's been really good, but when things hit the fan, it hits the fan hard. And as for Bowles, I mean, he's been relatively consistent. He's given up a couple of hits over a couple of innings, but really has been solid all throughout and hasn't had much variance in the types of inning he's thrown.
Over to second, tough play over there, spinning throw to first. And Mitchum is able to get Brown for the first out.
Now batting for the
That is not an easy play by any stretch by Mitchum. And when he goes over there, he's able to backhand it. Then you have to figure out how to throw the ball while spinning it. For anybody who knows what it's like to throw a ball while spinning, you have to throw it away from where your target actually is because of the momentum that your body has. So, really tough play.
First one low to Summers. It's 1-0. Had some action on both fields here at Rose-Hulman today. Softball, Rose-Hulman, Mount St. Joseph. Summers rips this one into left. It's going to be a extra bases. He's going for extra bases. Throw onto second is cut off. And it is a one-out double for Jackson Summers.
Big hit right there for Rose-Hulman. You find yourself in a 4-run deficit right now. You've got to find some sort of momentum down the stretch of this game, especially against a pitcher who's already gone quite a bit of distance up to this point in Bowles. And so if you're able to try to get some runners in scoring position, maybe even cash in on him before Transylvania inevitably takes him out of this game, that would be the ideal scenario for this RHIT offense.
Well, hey, it unraveled quickly on Strohmeyer. The same could happen to Bowles. And the first pitch to Serdenak finds the zone. It's 0-1. But with that softball game, low scoring, this one's getting slightly higher scoring, but 2-1, Rose-Hulman did lose to Mount St. Joseph. Swing and a miss at a curveball, and it's been a tight spinning one for Bowles. He's ahead 0-2. Just missed outside. Serdenak reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. He scored one of the 2 runs today for Rose-Hulman. The other one was Brown back in the 2nd. Pickoff back to second. They nearly had Summers leaning. Good move by Bowles. One, two. Fouled straight back.
And you can ill afford to pick up the second out right here if you're Rose-Hulman, because like I just mentioned, Bowles is now getting up there at the pitch count. He's going to start slowing down a little bit.
And it cannot come on a pickoff.
No, absolutely not. Not in a scenario like that. And Rose-Hulman's very fortunate that there wasn't a pickoff over there for Summers, because he was definitely caught lacking over there off the bag and was almost had to pay the price for it. Fortunate you don't have it, but now you also don't want to pick it up here on a strikeout as well.
One, two. Outside, it bounces away from Dreyer. And on to third goes Summers. That's a big, wild pitch, because now he's at third, still with only 1 out.
When Sam, I was about to bring up the point. What's going to be stronger? Is it going to be Bowles, who is now really getting up there in the pitch count, or is it going to be one of your pitchers out of the bullpen? Again, a bullpen that is one of the best in all of HCAC play, you'd have to think that Bulls is probably going to get yanked here before long because of how strong that bullpen is.
2-2, and Cernak is putting up a battle. Feel a lot better getting at least one here. Big hole up the middle, 2-2. And he continues to send balls down the right field line and out of play. And pitch count certainly becoming a factor. Another 2-2 on the way. Check swing. No, he did not. And the count runs full. Oliger waits on deck. And then the top of the order.
Well, one of these two batters next for Rose-Hulman has to find a way to be safe so the lineup card can flip over.
3-2, and he is not going down easy. Sends another one to the backstop. And he's fouled off so many that we had to get some new balls for our home plate umpire.
You know, that's the thing, though, Sam, is that I feel like if one of these next two players for Rose-Hulman reaches, this would probably be the day for Bulls, you'd have to imagine.
Payoff pitch. Inside ball 4. He walks Cernak. And Rose-Hulman has men on the corners.
Now batting for the Fighting Engineers,
no
number 13.
Clear
Jonathan
sign of whether
Oliver.
there is. Nope, never mind. I spoke too soon. Transylvania is going to talk this one over. And rightfully so, just as I suspected, this might be the day for Drew Bowles because this is a tough situation to be in right now. You're still holding on to the lead.
Big moment. Tying run is on deck, which is a Trusco. And we'll see if they make the move here with Bowles. Entire infield gathered on the mound. Rose-Hulman searching for offense. They got one in the second, one in the fourth, but looking for a inning for the offense to break through against Bowles, who's thrown so well and has limited the damage across this game. Just dancing and weaving through innings. And he will stay in to face Rogers a fourth time. Wanted to talk things over, give him a bit of a reset. But we will get Bowles-Rogers round 4.
I'm a little bit surprised by this decision right here, Sam, because you've got one run potentially 90 feet away.
Excuse me, Cruz. I jumped Bowles-Oliger round 3 before Bowles-Rogers round 4. They wanted to at least see the 9-man. And the first one is yanked outside. It's 1-0. So first and third, Summers at third, Cernak at first. Transylvania up 6-2. One down here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-0. 1-1.
I'm still a little surprised. I mean, you mentioned the 9-hole hitter and trying to get him to face Bowles again to see if we can't get him out of this inning before you throw in another arm. Obviously, you want to save them for the doubleheader tomorrow, but I'm still kind of surprised that he stayed in for as long as he has.
Check swing, no swing. 2-1 on Oliger. He's already walked him once. Definitely don't want to walk him again to load the bases. Up the middle. Off of the glove of Bowles. Shiratori's able to pick it up. Strong throw to first. There's 2. Unbelievable by Seda Shiratori up the middle. It will officially go as a 1-6-3 double play to get Transylvania out of the 6th without any runs across. It's 6-2 they lead, heading to the 7th here on RHIT.TV.
1 hit, 0 errors, and 1 left on base. Do it for Transylvania.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 mile an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
(6-2) the lead for Transylvania, and it's due to an unbelievable defensive play by Seda Shiratori up the middle. Off the deflection of Bowles, was able to pick it up right at the second base bag and turn 2 to keep Rose-Hulman off the board in the bottom of the 6th. So Rose-Hulman, that's the day for Strawmeyer. They'll go to the bullpen, and the first one is in there for a strike. It's 0-1. 9-1-2 due up for Transylvania. What a massive momentum swing, Cruz.
I mean, it's a massive play. And, I mentioned that I was shocked that Transylvania decided to keep Drew Bowles on the mound for the 9-hole hitter. You brought that up. You want to give him a look just to see what he can do.
Fouled back by Finn to stay alive.
I mean, just a gigantic play, though, by Bowles. It was grounded right to him. And how terrific. We were talking about it going into the break. Has Shiratori been over at shortstop covered, was able to make a rifling throw to get the put out.
A wizard defensively as this is popped up. Foul ground first base side, and Serdenak makes the play.
And it was massive because you were going to get the runner at second regardless. A run would have came across if you're Rose-Hulman, would have kept the inning alive had the runner been safe at first, and then the top of the order comes up. Then you're talking about Drew Bowles being taken out of the game, putting in a new pitcher. Instead, you get out of the inning without having to take the time to put a warm-up arm in the bullpen and then get him out onto the field to have him warm up. And you keep the runs off the board in the process as well.
Slider outside to Dillon. It's 1-0. So after 6 innings of work where he threw better than his line, 6 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, and 1 walk, for Strawmeyer today, they'll turn things over to Lewandowski. And we've seen him before, is much better of late. The ERA on the season for Lewandowski, not great, 7.23 over 23 2/3 innings. Good strikeout stuff, a few too many walks, but a nice middle relief option for the Engineers. 1-1, just outside, it's 2-1. And again, with Strawmeyer, the score doesn't indicate how well he threw for the majority of the game. A couple rough innings really deteriorated the line. 2-1. Inside 3-1 on Dillon. Again, the game not over, though. We got 3 more innings to play, and it's up to the Rose-Hulman bullpen to keep it right where it is. Sharply hit up the middle and through. Second hit of the game for Ethan Dillon.
And if you're Rose-Hulman, you can ill afford to start coming apart again right here. Now you've gotten it out. You've given up a hit as well. So, just kind of teeter-tottering there right in the middle. Still have yet to see what's going to happen for the rest of this game. But the last thing that you want to do if you're Rose-Hulman is give up more insurance runs to this Transylvania team. And you've also got to find a way to tally runs against whatever arm will be thrown out there for Transylvania the rest of the way.
A lot of breaking balls from Lewandowski. First slider to Shiratori, misses outside. It's 1-0. That's his best pitch. Like a frisbee. A lot of horizontal movement. Nearly got him. Leaning and able to get back in there is Finn. You saw, made a move towards second, then saw what was happening. Wasn't far enough off the bag, though, to be picked off. And now he's going. And was there interference there? Or no, just a drop from Rasmussen on the transfer. So a stolen bag for Finn. He's into scoring, or stolen bag for Dillon. He's into scoring position.
And Dillon, by far and away, the best bag stealer on this Transylvania team. That's stolen bag number 20 in 22 attempts. on the year. That is spectacular.
A lot of speed out there at second. He's going to try to come in as Shiratori lines went into right. Nice strong throw from Etrusco, and Dillon will stop at third.
Now batting number 8.
So a nice single for Shiratori, and it's Transylvania runners at the corners with just one out as they look to really break this game open.
This is a big potential for Transylvania, like you mentioned, to really put this one on ice, because in a game where Rose-Hulman is, I wouldn't say labored to score, but scoring has been kind of scarce to come by.
I think that's a fair word to use.
Being able to make up at least 5 runs or more is going to be a bit of a stretch.
So speed at first and third, and it's Tedesco squaring to bunt. It'll keep Shiratori honest at first. Tedesco doubled to lead off the 6th. It was the catalyst for their 3-run frame. All the scoring in 2 innings. 3 in the 2nd for Transylvania, 3 more in the 6th. 1 in the 2nd for Rose-Hulman, 1 more in the 4th. The closest they've been is 1, 3-2. And now back to a 4-run lead, 6-2. And Transylvania trying to build on it here in the 7th. They're not afraid to have anyone square. Tedesco will square here. He's the 3-hitter, and he'll take a strike. It's 0-1. We've seen Mitchum get a bunt down in the 4-hole. We saw Dillon do it as the leadoff hitter. They sacrifice for the team to win and move runners 90 feet. It's a winning recipe. Another pickoff back to first. You see O'Connell over at third, way in on the grass and charging when Tedesco will square. Middle infield back, playing for 2. And he does square, gets it down the first base line. A perfect bunt. Lewandowski will get him at first. But a sac bunt. Safety squeeze gets the run in. In comes Dillon, and the lead is up to 5. It's 7-2 Transylvania.
I mean, that was executed perfectly right there. Again, right along that first base line into no man's land. Again, who's going to take it? Is it going to be the first baseman? Is it going to be the pitcher? Is it going to be the catcher? You can't send the catcher because you have to be available to try to make the tag over at home plate. So just perfectly executed right there by Transylvania. Now you've extended that lead to 5 runs, almost nearly insurmountable in a game like this.
It's such a weapon when, as a team, everyone is able to get bunts down. And we've seen the impact it's had in this game for Transylvania. They've manufactured runs, and they were able to get a run in there on the safety squeeze. And now Lewandowski following behind Mitchum, 1-0. Yes, he did. It's 1-1. Mitchum today, 1 for 3. RBI single last inning in the 6th. Has grounded out and also has flown out to right. Upstairs, 2-1. Cruz, is it flown out or is it flew out?
That's a good question.
What's the grammar there?
First of all, I'm not an English major, so I'm the last person you need to be asking for that. But in my unprofessional opinion, I would say flew out.
That's what I was thinking. I think I screwed that up. Strike on the outside corner. It's 2-2.
We're going to have to bring that up with somebody.
You can fly the ball out to right, but you flew out.
Flew out is in the past tense. Now, flown might be a little bit more of a... what's the word? I can't even think of the word.
Well, running is Shiratori, and Rasmussen guns him out at third. So a nice caught stealing for Rose-Hulman to end the 7th, but another run comes across for Transylvania. A safety squeeze scores Dillon, and Transylvania takes a 7-2 lead into the bottom of the 7th as we stretch here on RHIT.TV.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We're not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
New arm for Transylvania is Gabe Dillard. He takes over for Drew Bowles, who threw spectacularly through 6 innings of work, just 1 earned run. And Dillard fires in a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. 6 hits, 2 runs, just 1 of them earned for Bowles. He kept the Rose-Hulman offense at bay. And now turns it over to the Transylvania bullpen. Dillard the first man out, and it's an 0-2 count on the leadoff man, Peter Rogers.
And Dillard has made the most appearances on the season for this Transylvania pitching staff. And so, obviously hasn't made the most putouts on the year. Hasn't seen the most action, but certainly is called upon more times than anybody else in this Transylvania pitching staff by far.
Inside out swing, fouls it off the other way. Stays 1-2. Rogers 1 for 2, RBI single in the 4th, drew a walk in the 3rd. A lot of work for the Rose-Hulman offense. And a little blooper finds the glove of Mitchum. 1 up, 1 down for Dillard.
Now batting for the Fine Engineers, number 34.
If you're Rose-Hulman, you've got to find a way to get something materialized here with this new arm. You want to hop on him early so that way you can shake things up a little bit and also maximize the amount of opportunities you have down the stretch of this game.
That fastball's got some life from Dillard, and it's in there on the outside corner. 0-1. 5th-year player is Dillard from Old Hickory, Tennessee. Right back up the middle, and off the bare hand of Mitchum. It's going to find center field grass, and Rose-Hulman's got a 1-out base runner.
And that's really the only play that Mitchum was going to have if he wanted to try to get the throw out over at first. Now, he could have tried to have backhanded it, but by the time that he transfers that ball into his throwing hand and turns his back entirely, he's not going to have too many options in terms of getting the ball over to first in time. So, if you're Mitchum, you can kind of live with that one just a little bit, because you knew that was going to be a hard play regardless. But nonetheless, Rose-Hulman's able to get a runner over on first. It's start of potentially something here for the Fighting Engineers.
O'Connell's had a rough day. Ball gets all the way to the backstop, but was fouled off. Foul tip from O'Connell, so it's 0-1. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. So it was not seeing Bowles well. We'll see if you can see Gabe Dillard a little better. Dillard, really rough timeout cruise last time. 3 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs against Mount St. Joseph. And our cameraman, Chuck, is going to really like this. His favorite player is DJ LeMahieu.
He's a little iffy, maybe. Maybe not.
Fouled back by O'Connell.
Gave you the little, maybe not with the hand. The so-so hand. Maybe a little side-eye, too, as he was looking back at you for a minute.
You hear a lot of Ohtani, Judge. It's just interesting to hear DJ LeMahieu, but I respect it for Dillard. Oh-2. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeout day for O'Connell, and he's the second out.
Now batting for the Pine Engineers, number 41, Mason Rasmussen.
This is going to be the guy who has to get you going before you get to the heart of your order, because after this, it's not as though it's a steep drop-off, but this is one of the more reliable hitters that you've had on your roster over the last couple of weeks, and especially over the course of the last week or so. It's got to be now or never.
Rasmussen, a deep drive to left, but too much underneath it. It will hang up for Hettinger, and he makes the play to retire the side. So Dillard works around the one-out single, and Transylvania takes their 7-2 lead into the 8th. You're on RHIT.TV.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We are not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org.
RHIT.TV is sponsored by Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else for delicious food? If you're looking for amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about service, you've got to try Aspen Creek Grill. If you're looking for amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about service, you won't be disappointed. 866-885-3249. 4, 5, and 6 due up against Alec Lewandowski's second inning of work for the right-hander came in relief of Brady Strawmeyer, who battled through 6 innings. And then the first pitch to Mitchum is outside. It's 1-0.
Your defense is going to have to step up big right now if you're Rose Holman. You can ill afford to give up any additional runs at this point in the game.
Slow chopper, tough play. O'Connell charges, gloves, throws. And it's high and gets over Serdenak. Rasmussen was there to back up the throw. So it's an infield single for Mitchum, his second hit of the game.
That's a really tough play. We've seen a lot of these so far today. Just these balls that are really difficult to get to for these infielders. And that was another one right there. O'Connell charged at it. Had to make the throw so late that he had to just get it over there as fast as he could and hope it didn't go far. And that's exactly what you didn't need if you were Rose Holman to begin this top of the 8th.
Inside to Taylor, 1-0. And it's just been a struggle over the last couple innings. A lot of laborious work, some long battles for these Rose Holman pitchers. And you got to credit the Transylvania order. They've made it difficult. They've put the ball in play. And they've got 11 hits to their name. One-0. Just floats in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Taylor's had a nice game, 2 for 3. Scored twice. Keeping a close eye on Mitchum over at first. That's driven into deep left field. Long way to go for Colton Brown, and it's off the wall. How about the day for Austin Taylor? He'll cruise into second with an RBI double. His third hit of the game. Second consecutive at bat with an RBI double. And the lead is 8-2 for Transylvania.
Yeah, that might have been the knockout punch right there. And like we said coming in to this inning, you could ill afford if you were Rose Holman to give up any more insurance runs. You give up one right there on a powerful hit at that. I'm not saying for Rose-Hulman it's time to start looking forward to the weekend doubleheader tomorrow, but that might have to be the case because Transylvania has been rock solid over the last 3 innings, to say the least.
And now he squares to bunt and takes outside. Hedinger laid down a sac bunt his last time, and again, can never have enough insurance. Runner at second, no one out. Getting him to third here is what the Transylvania lineup is all about. So he squares and does get it down in front of the mound. Over is Lewandowski. And the throw is up the line. It's unraveling for Rose-Hulman. In comes Taylor. He'll score. Going to third is Hedinger. And now he's going to stop right there. So a little league triple of sorts as Hedinger has a 3-base error. And you can tell there's some frustration for Rose-Hulman. Slow walk out to the mound for Adam Rosen. Cruz, it's falling apart at the seams.
It sure is, and he was even getting the wave over at third initially. You see on the left side of your screen, he was getting the wave. Then at the very last moment, he was held up. I mean, if he was able to get all the way home, that would have been one of the more erratic plays in all of the HCAC this season. It's unfortunate for Rose-Hulman after the terrific start to the day. Other than that 3 spot in the top of the second, I mean, you've given up 6 runs now over the last 3 innings, and it's hard to win ball games like that.
And again, it's the bunt, and it can feel so minimal at times. Teams don't like it because you're not squaring the ball up and driving it all across the yard. But what the bunt does is it makes your opponent's field. If you care about winning baseball games, you prioritize bunting into your practices, into what you do as a team. And you can tell it's not about any specific player at Transylvania. They're doing this as a unit. Lewandowski ahead 0-2.
You can tell this is something that this Transylvania team works on quite a bit because every single bunt that they have been able to lay down in play so far today has been nearly picture perfect. And that's especially in a game like this that has been, at least up until recently, relatively low scoring. When you can manufacture runs by utilizing the bunt, and you get really good at that, you're going to be a very good team in those situations.
Good teams know how to get the extra 90 feet, whether that's with a bunt, stealing bases, going first to third. They've done it all in this game. And it hits him. 2-2 from Lewandowski is up and in to Manning, clips him on the shoulder. And Rose-Hulman is still searching for their first out in the 8th.
And that's one of the rare free passes that we have seen given out today. The last time that we were here for RHIT.TV, there was a bunch of free passes given. Today has been the exact opposite. But what has been lacking in free passes for these two teams has really been made up for by Transylvania's bunting ability, especially over the course of the last 3 innings. They've been able to manufacture a handful of runs, just like we were just talking about.
So pinch runner comes in for Transylvania. Over at first, takes over for Manning. It's Warren Wilson, the sophomore outfielder. And Cruz, I may sound a little repetitive, but now Dreyer will square to bunt.
Well, hey, what's the old saying? If it isn't broke, don't fix it. If it's still working for you, why go away from it?
And that's way inside, nearly hit him. He gets out of the way, and Warren Wilson will go to second. So Lewandowski has lost the zone, has become a bit erratic.
At this point, I think you're just trying to
get through the game.
Find a way to get, yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Just trying to get to the end of the game, start to shift your focus to tomorrow. Because at this point, being down 7 runs and having only scored 2 the entire game, a comeback at this point of this ball game would be highly unlikely. And if you were able to do it, it'd be a large extinguishing of resources available for the rest of the way.
Chopper O'Connell, nice glove hand pick. And we'll get Dreyer over at first. The runners did not advance, so they stay at second and third. Now with one out for Max Finn.
And that's smart base running, too, by Transylvania. You don't have to go in that situation. You've got runners at second and third, and you don't have to advance yourself, because if you were to go, there's going to be communication from this Rose-Hulman team. And so it would make that play over at home plate a lot easier, because that was going to be one that the pitcher was going to get the whole way.
1-0 on Finn. The infield remains in for Rose-Hulman. 1-0. 2-0. Three and 0.
Looking towards tomorrow, Sam. I mean, this is a Transylvania team that really didn't have to expend a whole lot of their bullpen. I don't think Rose-Hulman will either, but still, you take a couple of your best arms out, trying to get you back into this game. And it doesn't leave you with a whole lot left.
And that's what is so good about tack-on runs. We can save some of our better arms in the bullpen for tomorrow. And for Rose-Hulman, the task offensively over the last your final 6 outs in the 8th and the 9th needs to be, let's see as many pitchers as we can for Transylvania. Let's make this as chaotic as possible so that we may lose this game, but tomorrow we even the playing field a little bit. So a walk to Max Finn loads the bases, and with one out, Adam Rosen will make a call to the bullpen. That's the day for Lewandowski, a tough outing for him. And they'll call upon an arm to try to get them out of this 8th frame. They trail 9-2, bases loaded for Transylvania when we return here on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Tough outing for Alec Lewandowski. A couple in here in the 8th for Transylvania. They've really pulled away. They lead 9-2 as Colin Vanderhulst will inherit a tough situation. Bases loaded for the Pioneers with just one down here in the 8th.
Yeah, and it seems as though Rose-Hulman's throwing in the towel at this point. This is only the 5th appearance on the year for this young man. 2 1/3 innings of work, 5 hits, 4 runs, none of them earned yet on the year. Has a pair of strikeouts to his name as well. Just trying to get some experience for Vanderhulst and trying to give him a little bit of something to work off of as he tries to build up his career here with the Fighting Engineers.
Well, hey, why not? In a 9-2 game, let's see what you got in some of your younger arms. Or more inexperienced arms. Pitched against Anderson last weekend through a clean inning.
Now batting, number 18,
and
Ethan
as many
Dillon.
arms as you can have that are reliable heading into conference tournament play, that's a plus. So they'll see what they have in Vanderhulst here in this situation. 5th time through for Transylvania, Ethan Dillon, who's 2 for 4, will look to tack on to his nice day, cut and a miss, and it's 0-1.
And a bit of a strange release point right there for Vanderhulst. A different look for sure for this top of the order for Transylvania.
Very sidearm, and that can be deceptive. Can be a different look out of the pen, and A lot of managers like to have guys, the guy way over the top, the left-handed arm, the three-quarter slot guy, and a guy that's a little more sidearm like Vanderhulst.
He's got some good movement on those pitches. There's no question about it.
Looks like a sinker-slider combo, which is typical from that release point. 2-1. And there's the slider, but misses outside. And he's down on the count 3-1 to Dillon. Nowhere to put him. 3-1. Generous strike on the outside corner, and it's 3-2.
Getting this second out would be massive for this Rose-Hulman team. Just to give Vanderhulst a little bit of confidence going forward, but also this defense as well, which has struggled.
Driven into the right center gap. And what? Oh, no, it's off the glove of Etrusco. Nearly a running grab. And now you can send the merry-go-round for Transylvania. Everyone is coming home. And the ball is dropped by Rasmussen. And everyone scores. It's a bases-clearing double for Ethan Dillon. 3 RBIs. And it's 12-2 Transylvania. Had to hold up for a second in case Etrusco was going to catch the ball. Then everyone sent. Hedinger scored. Warren Wilson scores. And then Finn was actually
26, Sita Shiratori.
caught up. But the ball was dropped by Rasmussen, and that just speaks to the day it's been for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, it's a rough break right there. I mean, Etrusco was right on top of that ball as it went into the outfield and missed it barely. And the same thing happened there behind the plate. You're going to take another look at this right here. Oh, sorry. My apologies. That was actually our live shot.
Yeah, I had actually just finished the replay.
But you saw it on the replay a couple of moments ago where Etrusco was barely able to miss that one. And then the throw to home plate and behind the plate, Rasmussen barely had to tip off of his glove as well. So a couple of those runs were definitely preventable. Unfortunately for Rose-Hulman, the ball just literally didn't bounce their way in that scenario.
Well, now it is a 10-run deficit for Rose-Hulman, and we talked about this during the pitching change. There is a run rule when you're down by 10 after the 6th inning. That can't happen, or the game is over. So Rose-Hulman, the pressure's on to score in the 8th to make Transylvania have to pitch the 9th. Popped up by Shiratori. Oliger is there for the second out. And here's Tedesco.
Now batting number 8.
And obviously,
Tedesco.
there are advantages to having Rose-Hulman play that final part of this game. Of course, being whatever is after this 8th inning, which would be the 9th. And then if Rose-Hulman's able to miraculously extend this game, because it would take some pitches out of that Transylvania bullpen for the rest of the weekend. Whereas right now, Rose-Hulman is pitching one of their more inexperienced pitchers who more than likely, I won't say wouldn't have made an appearance later this weekend, but certainly wouldn't have seen reps like this if this game had been close.
Driven into the left center gap, and that's down in front of Colton Brown. RBI knock for Baxter Tedesco, and make it a 6th spot for Transylvania in the 8th.
Yeah, now that's 10 runs over the course of the last 3 innings. I mean, this Transylvania team has really settled in here, and they're going to have a lot of confidence going forward into this weekend doubleheader tomorrow.
And another hit. Driven down the left field line, will be cut off by the left fielder Summers. Going first to third is Tedesco, and he is out. So an ill-advised base running play to make the final out at third base, but I don't think they really care. They scored 6 runs in the 8th, and Transylvania leads 13-2. Rose-Hulman needs at least 2 in the bottom of the 8th to keep this going here on RHIT.TV.
At the end of the top of the 8th, 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors, and 0 left on base. 2 up for Rose-Hulman, Harms, Brown, and Summers.
RHIT.TV is sponsored by Wheeler Mission for over 131 years. Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. Can you volunteer today? 317-686-6239. Well, the situation for Rose-Hulman is you need 2 to keep the game going. It's been a rough past 3 frames. 10 runs, as a matter of fact, for Transylvania ever since the 6th inning. Rose-Hulman down 13-2, and it's 5, 6, and 7 due up against Gabe Dillard.
And it looks like Rose-Hulman has thrown in the towel here. A couple of pinch hitters coming in for this Fighting Engineers team, and just giving some of those guys who don't get as much experience a couple of nods right here. Give them a little bit of game action and try to reset themselves before that doubleheader tomorrow.
13 runs on 15 hits for Transylvania. The offense came to life late. Called strike 3 for Dillard. 1 down.
Pinch hitting number 3, Michael Stenger.
I'm interested to see what changes between tonight and tomorrow for this Rose-Hulman team, because Transylvania really is, even before Brady Strawmeyer came out of this game.
Popped up by Stenger. Right field line, nearly a great play by the first baseman Taylor. Instead, drops in foul territory. So a strike against Stenger on a play that's not routine, I'll say.
No doubt about it. It's one of the longer strikes that you'll see where you're still wondering what it's going to be called, because obviously that one wasn't going to be on a play. And Transylvania could have made a play on it and almost did, but just couldn't find a way to get it done. Although I think that's going to be the least of their worries going forward for this Transylvania team, although they aren't going to have many of them either after a day like today.
Well, I'll tell you, Dillard is throwing hard. Lined up the middle, a base hit for Stenger. So that's a feel-good moment here in the 8th for Rose-Hulman, and you want to take as many positives as you can into tomorrow. That's something they can build off of. 1-out base runner for Jackson Summers.
Yeah, you've got to take any positive momentum forward that you can, because, you know, as much of a cliche as it is, tomorrow's another day. And you're going to be playing different games, obviously, than the one you're in right now. You know, you flip everything over, you forget yesterday, or what will be yesterday tomorrow by the time first pitch is thrown. And you just got to put this one behind you. You have to move forward and try to take one of the next 2 games tomorrow in that doubleheader, try to clinch the series.
Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball from Dillard, and he's ahead of Summers 0-2. Well, we knew Transylvania was going to pitch. They've done that all season, the last 2 years, as a matter of fact. The offense caught us by surprise. Complete game for Transylvania here in Game 1.
Giving up just 2 runs over the course of a game is extremely impressive. And to do it with 2 pitchers as well is also equally as impressive.
You save those bullets for tomorrow in a series that really has utmost importance heading into conference tournament play. We mentioned the 4-way tie at the top. Both these teams among those 4, Rose-Hulman and Transylvania, 12-7 is the record. So if you win at least 2 out of 3, you're guaranteed a top 2 spot in this conference, at least.
The good news is I believe it's the top 4 that get into the HCAC tournament.
It's top 6.
Top 6, okay, so there you go. Both of these teams more than likely going to be A-okay in that category. But obviously, you want to save yourself a little bit of action by, you know, putting yourself in the best position possible in the standings, because that obviously benefits you down the stretch, and especially in the postseason tournament.
And possibly match up against one of those 5 or 6 teams rather than one of the better teams in this Heartland Conference.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of difference between numbers 1 through 4, but yeah, being able to get yourself a little bit of a break right there, maybe take on a 5 or a 6 seed to warm yourself up a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of strategy that goes into, you know, how those teams will play themselves out in their particular scenario. Although I think at this point, neither of these teams are really worried about that. They're more focused on capturing a regular season title instead of where they end up at in that tournament.
3-2. Summers goes down on strike. Second strikeout of the inning for Dillard. Third of the game, and Rose Holman is down to their final out, and it'll be Jack Kelly to pinch hit for Serdenak.
We're all good, sir. No need to worry about our shot. I said no need to worry about getting in the way of our camera. You're all good.
So we'll see if you can start a rally, keep this game going for the ninth. Check swing, yes he did. It's 0-1. Transylvania's got a good arm in Dillard. Was roughed up his last time against Mount St. Joseph, but has thrown the ball well today. And now they're a strike away from taking game one.
Yeah, those are two really strong pitches right here. And, if you're Transylvania, you take the energy forward, but you also have to forget about this one because Rose Holman's going to come out with some fire tomorrow. And you got to be prepared for that. Especially here on the road. It's going to be a doubleheader. It's going to be a long day of baseball. And you want to give yourself the best chance to keep yourself in the conversation for a title.
Way inside, and the count is full. So Stenger will be on the move at first. He'll be released on the pitch. Kelly will try to keep the game going. One more batter. 3-2. Called strike three. So Dillard records all three outs in the eighth by way of the K. It's a run rule victory for Transylvania. They win 13-2 in 8 innings of play. The offense came alive late. This was a 3-2 game through 5 innings. It winds up being 13-2 through 8 and a game 1 victory for the Pioneers.
Yeah, it was a pitcher's duel for the first 5-6 innings nearly of this game. And, once the seam started to fall apart for both of the pitchers, really, it was Transylvania who was able to capitalize it and not Rose Holman. And, as a pitching staff, Transylvania has, in my opinion, and the numbers back it up, the best pitching staff in all of the HCAC, and they really proved it today. 2 earned runs over the course of 8 innings of work. I mean, that is some spectacular work.
Just 1 earned run. 2
1
runs.
Earned run. You're right.
It was an error. Just one of them was earned. A spectacular day on the mound for both the Bulls and Dillard. They really did pitch well. Just the 1 earned run, like we mentioned, in the 13-2 victory. The 2 of those guys saved a lot of bullets. For the doubleheader tomorrow, Rose Holman a chance to rebound and take the series with a sweep in the doubleheader tomorrow, Saturday. But for today, it was a Transylvania win, and we thank you for joining us here on RHIT.TV. For our entire IndianaSRN crew, Nick Lewis, Chuck Levine, and Cruz Martin, my partner, I'm Sam Cinder, and we thank you for joining us here. It's a Transylvania win, 13-2, the final score here at Art Neff Field.